We at the Dome appreciate you listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, please share, subscribe, and like. Thank you. Good evening, and welcome to this segment of News from the Dome. I'm your host, Zip Osborne, coming to you live, as always, from the Dome Studios, right here on Tarian 347. Tonight's top stories. Missing persons. Families in the Skags report relatives who have left the Dome are unaccounted for. And in a special segment, our very own Elka Mismon visits the ore fields and digs into the life of a Zorodite miner. And finally, we analyze Mayor Big Bob Dixon's State of the Dome address. But before we get started, let's hear a message from our sponsor, Zorcorp, powering your today and your tomorrow.
We at Zorcorp take great pride in our work and steadfast commitment to power the lives of more than 1 trillion people living on 84 planets across the galaxy. And you really should become part of the team. I've told you before, half the galaxy remains unexplored. That means vast opportunities in our sales and outreach departments. And there's always a need for more mining experts and mechanics for work at our processing plant. For more information, contact your local Zorcorp representative. Zorcorp, powering your today and your tomorrow.
Tonight's broadcast is also brought to you by Daisu Hoverboards and by Zach's Zorodite Mining Equipment, where you will always find what you need to succeed. Speaking of Daisu, I recently had my Model X23 in for service, and the staff there were excellent. They quickly found the problem and got me back on my board the same day. It appears someone may have been trying to play a little trick on yours truly. They found that the perimeter, whatever that is, was stuffed with Tarian turtle fat. So whoever you are, good one, but I'm keeping my eyes out for you. Now to our headlines. Missing persons. Over the weekend, 6 families from the Skags reported losing contact with family members who left the Dome to work for the Zorcorp mines. We reached out to Zorcorp and was told that there were no records of any of these individuals ever signing contracts to work for the company, and that no new arrivals fit their descriptions. We spoke with Sheriff Sam, who confirmed that a total of 7 individuals are in fact missing from the Dome, and that a thorough search conducted by himself and Deputy Dando came up empty. When reached for comment, Mayor Dixon suggested that the group may have snuck off the planet in one of the daily shuttles, or perhaps worse, got lost in the ore fields and fell victim to pirates or some hungry beasts. We hope that this is all a big misunderstanding and that the families are reunited soon. Our next story is one you are all likely to be interested in. You know them. You might be one of them. You certainly see them leaving the Dome each morning and returning late in the day, tired and filthy, most likely headed to the Stardust Saloon for a cold brew after a hard day's work. They're the Zorodite miners, who have come from all over the galaxy to work in the ore fields in search of riches. Our very own Elka Mismon recently visited the ore fields and got an up-close look at a day in the life of a Zorodite miner.
It's early morning, Zip, and already a steady stream of miners are making their way past the Skags to the West Gate. It's through here that these bipeds from all corners of the galaxy make the trek into the valley below, where they hope their dreams of striking it rich will come true. This morning, I'm tagging along with Yabenya Yox, who goes by Ben, and his partner Adonis. Ben and Adonis have been working the ore fields for almost a year and have agreed to share their day with us. Ben is a tank of a man. He's tall and muscular, and above all, he is focused on his work. I learned through rumors that Ben might have once been a mercenary. By the looks of him, I sure wouldn't want to be on the other side of that fight. Adonis is shorter and burly, and though it's early in the morning, his shirt is already drenched in sweat. He gives off the impression of an older, more seasoned miner. It's not until you see the mop of curly blonde hair in his head that you realize his youth. To reach the valley and the ore fields, one must navigate a maze of rocky outcrops. We come out of these rocky spires and come face to face with 3 arid red islands that are floating low in the sky, casting shadows over the rust-colored valley below. Orange vines hang from the suspended masses, and blue goo is dripping from the center of each island into gaping caverns on the valley floor. It took us a half hour to descend into this valley. Adonis and Ben spent this time arguing over whether they should work the islands or the caverns on the valley floor. How they would access an island floating 300 feet above the ground becomes more obvious as we get closer. Miners begin lining up where the vines hang near the ground, and one by one they reach for a vine. Like a magical elevator, they are whisked up. Once on top, these bipeds climb into harnesses suspended underneath the islands and get to work picking and shoveling. On the valley floor, the landscape around the caverns and beyond is pocked with small craters and black sooty smudges. These are the result of the regularly scheduled meteor showers that make their way around the planet's equator. The valley floor is also where my companions have decided to work today. They pick and shovel at the edges of the huge pit, eager to get a glimpse of that elusive blue crystal called zorodite. An hour in, and I'm ready to call it quits, and I'm just watching. It's then that we all hear the shouting, "Eureka! Eureka!" A few yards away, a miner was holding up a brown, scaly clump in his hands. The other miners rushed over to get a look. Smiles are now abundant, and hope is on the rise. After everyone was done gawking and got back to work, I got to go over to take a look. It's not much, maybe a gram, but it will buy a meal, or perhaps a pair of socks. It's hard work, and it's dangerous too, especially if you're working on the floating islands. The fear of a fall is always present. We spent the rest of the day digging and picking. I even had a go at it. In the end, though, our 2 miners came up empty. I asked Ben how he keeps his spirits up, and he was quick to respond, saying, and I quote directly, "Today I come home empty-handed. Tomorrow I may come home a king." Adonis is less optimistic. While he finds enough ore to survive, after a year in the fields, he expected to be doing much better. The miners stay close together on the track back to the dome. The threat of pirates is always present, but they typically avoid groups, preferring to go after stragglers. Once back inside the walls, like so many others, Ben and Adonis make their way to the Stardust Saloon. There, they'll drink away the memory of a tough day and dream of the treasure that awaits them tomorrow. It's a hell of a way to live, Zip. Glad we do the news.
Thank you, Elka. That was some amazing reporting. Those sure are some tough folks. This seems like the perfect time to remind our listeners that ZorCorp is always hiring. So if the ore fields have got you down, there are plenty of opportunities to work in the corporate mines. Let's move on to the weather. Meteor showers continue to arrive on schedule, reaching the dome at approximately 7 p.m. Beyond the equator, meteorologists detected a small rainfall in the southern hemisphere. Hover tanks chased the precipitation for several hours, capturing a sizable amount of water. And finally, tonight, we jump into remarks made by Mayor Big Bob Dixon when he took to the microphone this morning and gave his State of the Dome address. The mayor spent the first part of his speech boasting about his administration's accomplishments. He cited the efforts being made to fill in potholes after every meteor shower, and he was overjoyed at completing renovation of the Stardust Saloon. The mayor went on to share some statistics. He stated the population of the dome is now at 3,000. He attributed this increase from last year to the desirable living conditions, opportunities, and close proximity to transportation and easy access to ZorCorp's mining facility. But then, the mayor's cheery tone suddenly changed as he moved to his closing remarks. In a manner akin to preaching from a pulpit, the mayor accused, without providing any proof, that a group of residents in the Skags are secretly working with the pirate queen Nadia to bring crime inside the walls of the dome. He warned that without immediate action, our quality of life is at risk. Therefore, he is looking into ways of flushing out the criminals and what resources will be needed to do it. He closed by telling us that he was determined to ensure the safety of all who call the dome their home and promised to put an end to the conspiracy. We reached out to the mayor's office after the speech to gather more information, and we're still waiting for a reply. Well, this is the end of another show, so until next time, good night and good luck. Next time on News from the Dome, we catch up with the state of contract negotiations between portal workers and management. And we'll take a deeper dive into Mayor Bob Dixon's allegations against the Skags.